You go to a doctor and you say you have anxiety, and it's like, here's Xanax, here's Zoloft, here's this. Look what's happening within your body naturally before you go and take big pharma.
Medical industry is not to prevent illness.
No.
It's to treat.
And when it comes down to food, it's so simple. Stop eating what man has processed, eat what God put on this earth. I went through the regular medical out there when I was younger, and I suffered from anxiety my whole life. And at 18 years old, doctors put me on an antidepressant for anxiety. And I didn't know any better. Back then, it was like, you just listen to doctors. They know everything. The biggest thing I'm learning right now is being able to step away. Don't spiral down a rabbit hole when things don't go. Because when you own a business, every single day something happens where, okay, what, like,
Yes.
Are you kidding me? Like the amount of change that occurs. And so the old cat would spiral into an anxiety, just freak out, where now it's like, step back, ask, like, okay, give me the answers of what I'm supposed to do right now, and just wait for a minute. Just give it some time, because it's gonna appear, it's gonna show up. And like, believing in that and having faith in that has been such an incredible thing for me. And then the amount of people that are surrounding me and support and like love.
Welcome to the show, Kat.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
I am so excited to have you here because not only are we new friends, but your mission in life is so aligned with Everbull and what I do. And your tagline might be, like, if I didn't know it and I had just heard it somewhere, I might have stolen it for Everbull because it was so perfect.
That's
like,
all my husband. He came up with that.
It's awesome. Like, you gave me a shirt that one day when I came down, and I wear it around the house, and I keep looking at it like, oh, it is so perfect. And for those who don't know what the tagline is, you can't buy your health, so you have to invest in it.
That's right. Don't treat your body like a rental car.
Don't treat your body like a rental car.
Yeah.
So what was the idea, the inspiration behind Katalyst Wellness?
Honestly, the idea came from me because I went through the regular medical out there when I was younger, and I suffered from anxiety my whole life. And at 18 years old, doctors put me on an antidepressant for anxiety. And I didn't know any better. Back then, it was like, you just listen to doctors. They know everything. And so I was put on that. And then after 20 years of this and trying to get off multiple times, I decided to go to a different doctor because of my trainer. My body wasn't responding. I still had anxiety. I couldn't sleep, like just an assortment of side effects that were still affecting me in life. And I'm the type of person that I always want to better myself or figure it out. And so my trainer suggested I go and get my hormones tested. And I went to my doctor, my primary care, and I'm like, hey, can I do this? They're like, no, you're good. You don't need to test. You're within range. That's typical quote. You're within range. And so I let 6 months keep going. And my trainer finally looks at me and she's like, are you going to listen to me and go to mine? And so I went to her doctor, who does kind of what we do. And he did a full panel, checked everything. And he goes, Kat, he goes, you're within range. But if that range is 1 to 100 and you're at 1, I can make you feel a hell of a lot better by bringing you up to 60 and you're still within range. And I'm like, well, why don't regular doctors do this? And he's like, they don't know this. They don't understand hormones. They don't learn that. And that's kind of where I embarked on this, just seeing the world for what it is and seeing medical for what it is, because they learn big pharma. That's what they learn. And so you go to a doctor and you say you have anxiety, and it's like, here's Xanax, here's Zoloft, here's this. You say you can't sleep, here's Ambien, where it could just be a simple solution of, hey, blood work diagnostics. It could be vitamin B. It could be low testosterone. It could be vitamin D. Like, look what's happening within your body naturally before you go and take big pharma. So,
Well, I think you talk about something which is so important, and it's how the medical industry. I have watched all of the videos, all the documentaries on big pharma, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I do think big pharma runs a lot of it. I do think we are plagued by medical industry is not to prevent illness.
no,
It's to treat
Yes.
illness. They are in the business of treating conditions and symptoms.
correct.
And the way you do that on a macro scale where you have so many patients is you make these big ranges and realize, hey, if 80% of the population is within that 1 to 100, yeah, you might not sleep as well as this person, and yeah, you might, but for them, it's almost like a puppy mill, because how do you provide health services to so many people on a one-to-one basis?
Right.
Which is why I'm so fascinated and so excited at this new healthcare revolution that's happened over the last probably 6-7 years, because as a hypochondriac and someone who takes a lot of effort into preventing my own illnesses, and I want to live to be 200.
Yeah.
I'm an early adopter. Like, I am big into getting my blood work done, checking all these different things. I mean, I went to a place 8-9 years ago. They did a blood panel of me to see how I responded to like every individual food, bananas, strawberries,
It's so interesting.
It is interesting.
And once you learn it, you can kind of tweak things and then see how your body changes. And it's just so much fun to play with when you're in an optimal level. It's like, okay, I know I'm optimized, so let's increase my protein and decrease this and increase my cardio by 5 minutes and see what happens.
I was on medication because I have a hiatal hernia. I was on this medication from when I was 17 till 30. And at 30, I was tired of taking this medication because I had side effects, and it was difficult to always take medicine. So I did this blood work thing, and I found out that I can't eat tomatoes. I used to eat a lot of tomatoes. I stopped eating them. I stopped taking the drug, and I haven't been on this medication for 10 years now, because of tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
And what's fascinating is this drug, which was safe 4 years ago or 5 years ago, Kaiser came out and said, people are more likely to develop cancer if you take this drug.
Oh, of course.
And I was on the drug for 12 years. And I'm scared of cancer.
Of course.
And so just fascinating that by taking that approach. So I think that what you're doing at Katalyst is so fascinating and so awesome, and on the forefront of where I think we will end up. I think ultimately healthcare and the medical industry will get to that one-on-one, that individualized medicine, where what is good for you.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I think that it also takes a person that wants to do that, right? That wants to step outside their comfort zone, because it's not a magic pill. Mm-hmm. It's like you have to put the work in. You're not going to come and get the blood work and just change overnight. It also comes with a diet. It also comes with working out. It also comes with wanting to take care of yourself. And we're living in a world right now where people want immediate gratification and they don't want to put in the work. And so, yeah, a lot of our clientele are people that already have that drive to be better, that's kind of the fun part. We get to work with those people.
But how do you bring up the laggards? How do you help? Do you think that a lot of the people who maybe don't have that discipline and don't have that is because they're not feeling good because of their health? And if they felt better, they could? I
just did a presentation on this about how to bring those people up. And it's like, I gave some tangible things that they can do. I really think that those people want to be there, but they lack the know-how. And nowadays, you sit there and you try to figure out how to eat healthy, and you Google that. And it's like, 300 diets out there what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to do keto? Are you supposed to do carb fast? Are you supposed to fast? It's so complicated. And what I told these people in front of me who always say, but it's so easy for you. It's not easy for me. I've just gotten into my habits and repetition. And it's like, start small, create the habits. It's 21 days to create a habit, 90 days to create a lifestyle. Don't go all in. So many people come into our clinic and they go, yeah, but I'm going to Cabo in 30 days. What can I do to lose 20 pounds? That's not sustainable. Pick and choose like one or two things. You've said it before. I've heard my husband went to your talk, and the 1%. Yes. Pick one or two things that you can start with. And then as you become consistent in those, add another one in 2 months. Whatever that is, if you go get a latte every single day at Starbucks, get an almond latte with stevia instead of a mocha latte. Make one change. You're going to start seeing the results from that. You're going to start feeling that. And the more you feel it, the more you're going to want more and create those habits, right?
That's right.
And when it comes down to food, it's so simple. Stop eating what man has processed. Eat what God put on this earth. It is so simple. Stop worrying about like how many macros, how many this. Just start simple.
Eat stuff that's been around forever.
Yes.
Very simple.
So how do you get those people that are lagging? You have to create it easy for them. Because you can't just go in there, somebody like myself who's been practicing these for 20 years, and people think it's easy. It's still not easy. And I can't go to you and be like, okay, get on a meal plan, do this, eat 5 times a day, work out 5 days a week, to somebody who is not working out, somebody who's not eating healthy. Look, let's just figure out where you start. And you have to be consistent with it. And it takes you outside your comfort. And it's hard to get people to be uncomfortable.
It is. And the difference in what I have found is made success easier is learning to find the enjoyment of uncomfortable.
Yes.
Because that's where growth happens.
100%.
Growth doesn't happen under comfort.
Yes.
Comfort is comfort.
Yes, we are experiencing that myself right now.
Yes. But so your idea, so going back, so you came up with the idea of Katalyst after you went on your own health journey.
Mm-hmm. And when I went to that doctor, and this was like 8 years ago, it was expensive. Like the first blood work, everything, it was expensive. Let's just say it was expensive. And so a lot of my friends related to my story of having the anxiety, being tired. And when I saw the drastic change in myself, they're like, well, I want to do this, but they couldn't afford to do that. And I was blessed enough to have a career that I could afford to do that. And so I wanted to have some place where people can afford to go to have this option of medical care and to get this kind of service. And so I went to my husband at the time and asked him if he wanted to open one with me. We interviewed doctors all over the place, and we just could not find a fit. And after about 7 months, we found the doctor we have now, and he's phenomenal. He was willing to go to all the courses. He was willing to learn because, again, they don't learn this in medical school. So there's courses that you do need to take to be proficient in this. You don't want somebody that's just kind of guessing at your hormones.
Well, my dad's a retired doctor, and when he went through medical school, he had 1 hour of nutrition in the entirety of medical school.
It's crazy.
1 hour of nutrition education. Blows my mind.
It's crazy.
You're a doctor, and you spend 1 hour on nutrition?
Yeah.
Let alone individualized blood markers and how to optimize your health. And so once you identified the doctor, because I think this is what's so interesting for me is you were in medical sales.
Yeah.
What was your husband doing at the time?
My husband, he started a credit card processing business with his family, and then he was also doing real estate development.
Okay, so neither of you at that point were at all in the medical industry.
No, I mean, I was medical device for years.
Sales.
Right? No. Yeah, sales.
You're right. I'm saying you were on the front selling
Correct.
diagnostic tools to doctors, but not actually treating.
Correct.
So to go that, I mean, so you had to find a doctor, which, okay, that's a connection I see. But now you have this doctor, you have this idea for Katalyst Wellness, and then?
And then we dove in, right? So I actually went to the course that the doctor went to because I am one of those people, like, I don't want to go into something, even a medical device. Like, I need to know the product inside and out and bring value. And so I went to the course. I learned that. My husband and I also, we've been in fitness our whole life. We understand nutrition. We understand the aspects of what it takes. So we had that backing us. And then we just opened up, and we opened up April 1 of 2020. And we closed April 1 of 2020 because COVID literally hit right then. And then 2 weeks later, we were allowed to open because it was medical. And it was actually, we were concerned, but it was a blessing in disguise because all of our patients that were coming in, they weren't working. They wanted to be healthy because of what was going on with COVID. And all of a sudden, they were getting the money to be able to afford it. And so we just had this surge of people that wanted to start doing this. And then, as you know, in business, you learn as you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What did you take from your sales background over to Katalyst?
The biggest thing in my sales and why I was successful is I built relationships. I didn't build customers. And that is such a huge takeaway in sales. And when I was in front of my surgeons so many times, I'd be like, don't use my product because of me. Use my product because you think it's going to offer value to you. And if they didn't see that value, then I would sit with them, or I would talk with them, or there were many times where surgeons like didn't want to use my product and said they didn't need it, and they were phenomenal surgeons. So I'm like, okay, can I just sit in your cases? Can I just hang out? Because they were phenomenal surgeons and I can learn something. If you don't want to use my product, I want to understand why. And then after 6, 7, 8 hours of sitting in surgeries with them, all of a sudden they'd be like, oh, you know what? This is actually where your product might be useful, because I took the time to learn their knowledge, to understand what they were doing. I gave them the respect. I brought value to the table with my knowledge and what I'm doing. And the same thing applies to Katalyst, right? Like, I don't want you to come to Katalyst because your friend said it's the end all be. I want you to do it because you're seeing value in it, because you've looked into it. And I want you to experience it and see what it does for you. And I will give you all the information, talk with you about it. And I really provide that customer service, And that's what I've learned, I think, from sales. That's the biggest thing. I hate the car salesman and that you're just doing it for the money.
Right. Well, I mean, really, as you know, I say it all the time, relationship capital and building relationships. And in sales, I have found the same thing. Solution-based selling by making friends was the best way to sell.
Yes.
It builds lifelong relationships that allows you to provide value. And you know what? No product is meant for everybody. Mm-hmm. There's not one thing on the planet that someone can sell that is meant for 100% of the people.
Exactly.
Because not everyone sees the world the same way, which is fine. Mm-hmm. You got to find those people. But I do think individualized medicine is the wave of the future. I do think there will be a time in the near future where insurance starts to cover it because it's going to be cheaper.
I hope so.
They're going to learn the economics. It's just math.
Yeah.
If people are preventing illness and living longer but healthier and don't need medical care, insurance companies get to collect more premiums over a longer duration of time and spend less on treatment.
Yes.
So prevention and individualizing the human experience, now that we can, break down your genome and all these different diagnostic tools that are now readily available through technology and technological advances, this is where we're going. So what is Katalyst thinking about, or what are you guys working towards to help stay on the forefront, knowing that things are changing so fast?
Yeah. I mean, right now, I think the biggest challenge we're having is because we offer such a high level of customized service to each patient, it's hard to make that reproducible. So that's what I'm working on right now, is to make that reproducible for each patient, to be able to have that experience across the board and to be able to expand and offer this into more states. Because right now we're just in California. So we have a lot of telehealth patients across California, but I want to get out there and offer this across the board. And there are companies that do what we do, but they don't do it to the level we do, right? And so when they do their blood work, they're doing panels that are maybe half of what we're doing. And so that's what we pride ourselves on, is we give you the full bulk of the information. It would almost be like, I relate it to when a patient comes into us, you're going to get a full panel. It's almost like if you buy a car and you just do an oil change every year. That's not going to do anything. If you go to one of these other clinics and you're just getting testosterone, that's not going to do anything. You have to look at all the other levels that encompass what makes you, and optimize all levels and understand what's going on in your body. So that's really what we're working towards. I also want to add an element to our business, which is an accountability, because we get it all the time. The nutrition aspect, the hey, what do I need to do working out wise? And so have a full community around that to be able to help people.
And help people invest in their health.
Yes.
So a lot of times people hear the word testosterone, and I know that that's not all Katalyst does, but that's one of the main products that people come to you for. One of the main, not product, what's the better word?
It's a medication. It is a medication.
Medication people come to you for. But you treat a lot of women.
Yes.
With testosterone.
Yes.
And I'm going to have to learn here, because I was under the impression testosterone's only for men.
That is what the knowledge out there is, yes. And so what you have to understand is that testosterone is a hormone that's in both men and women. Yes, it's predominant that we hear about it in men. However, it is such a huge hormone in women. And one of the biggest misdiagnoses with low testosterone in women is anxiety and depression. Do you know how many people are out there on anti-anxiety medication or antidepressants? And it's like, again, just look at the internal levels first. And hey, there is a place for a medication. I'm not saying there isn't. There's a place for those antidepressants and anti-anxiety, but it should not be the first step, right? And so testosterone works just like anything else. It helps with anxiety. It helps with sleep. It helps with skin. It helps with anti-aging. Women don't know that. It's the biggest thing for skin, wrinkles, collagen development, all of that. It helps with osteoporosis. Obviously, it helps with libido, which is honestly a plus for women as they get older. And it's a huge thing in relationships. That's one of the number one reasons people come and see us. And I've had patients do testimonials where they break down crying because their relationship and everything is going south, and they just needed like a boost on their hormones.
So to the uninformed like myself, if a woman took testosterone, wouldn't she then turn more masculine?
No, because we're not giving you outside what your body normally produces, right? So just like for a man, there's certain levels, and we're not going to go outside of that. So I get it from women all the time. Well, if I take testosterone, am I going to get an Adam's apple? Am I going to get muscle? Am I going to get hair? Am I going to get... No, we're not going outside what your body is normal, right? So if those levels are 1 to 100 and we bring you up to 50, your body has already been at 50. We just fill up the cup as you age. Everything that makes you young slowly deteriorates as you age. So why are we waiting until people are 70 years old to fill up the cup? Why not fill it up as you age? And it alleviates so many symptoms that both men and women alike, weight gain, anxiety, all of the things like have to endure. You don't need to endure that. Foggy brain, you're not seeing as much as what you would with your workouts. We've all dealt with it as we age, and you don't need to experience those things.
So how does it connect? So you mentioned, at 70, we go to fill the cup up. Being that I'm focused mostly on longevity, how does it affect, or is there research yet on hormone replacement and longevity? Does it make my 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s better, but cap my duration of life? Or is there research showing that it is a part of the longevity cocktail?
I mean, there are studies out. I can't speak to specific, but I know there are tons of studies. When I went to that course, that's all he went over. And he went over, his name was Dr. Neil Rosier. He's one of the leading hormone experts in the country. And he kept going over the dynamic of like patients that would go to their primary care and go, well, I'm on testosterone. No, you shouldn't be on that. And so they'd come back to him and go, well, my primary care said I shouldn't be on it. Okay, well then get off of it. But I feel amazing on it. Okay, well then stay on it. But my primary care says this and this. Okay, well then you don't get both sides. You're either going to trust and believe in it and what it's going to do for you, or you're not. And I get it all the time. People come in all the time, but I read on Google that it's going to do this, 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 and this. No, here's all the studies and here's everything behind it. That's not true. But again, you also have to understand, again, not a conspiracy theorist, but we live in a world where people want to make money, and you can't make money off something you can't patent. That's natural.
Right.
So
in preparation for today, I was researching other medications. I use the right word, medications. And there's a revolutionary new fat medication.
yes. Semaglutide.
Thank you, semaglutide. And you guys offer that as well.
We do.
So it wasn't originally meant for fat loss, but
No, it was meant for diabetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was reading about it this morning. So how does that work? Because it seems to be gaining like national attention.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it works. It's a quick fix, right? So basically, it's going to slow down your digestion. And so when you eat, you get fuller faster. It's going to increase your insulin. So consider insulin like traffic cops in your body. So it's going to, as you eat, it's going to have more traffic cops to take what you're eating and saying, okay, we're going to use that as energy here and burn that here and do this here. So instead of having one of those in your body, you're going to have 20 of those, and it's going to slow down how much you eat. So in the grand scheme of things, you're going to lose a lot of weight. Now, the clinical studies, every single clinical study says a majority of the people, when you get off of it, gain all the weight back. So it's not the quick fix. And that's what the problem is it's just like bariatric surgery, right? Gastric bypass.
Yep.
You can go and make your stomach smaller, but if you don't change your habitual habits every single day that you're doing, all you're going to do is expand your stomach back out and be right back where you are. Right. And so, again, there is a place for medication, pharmaceutical, and that's why we offer this. But every patient that I've had come in, I literally said, like, if you do not change your daily habits, if you do not eat, multiple meals a day, if you don't stay consistent with what you're doing, then you're going to gain it all back. And so people lose all the weight because they're not hungry. Mm-hmm. They don't drink water. They won't eat. They lose all this weight and they get off of it and get their hunger back. And it's like, so I tell all my patients, you have to eat. I encourage you to eat 5 meals a day, small meals, get used to doing that. So when you come off, you're consistent, your metabolism is going, you're still eating, you're learning those habits.
Yep.
And whether they do that, again, that's up to them.
But that's the accountability part.
Yeah. And this is the huge thing. I mean, it is on FDA shortage right now. So the name brands are Wegovy and Ozempic. And those are on FDA shortage, which is why compounding pharmacies are able to make it right now.
Eli Lilly is one of them?
Yeah. They're coming out with a new one in a year, too. That's crazy.
I own some stock in Eli Lilly.
It's probably a good thing, because the new one they're coming out with is supposed to work some crazy numbers better than this one. But that's the scary part, right? This is the scary part, is you're going to, instead of people doing the work, everyone's going to be on a medication to lose weight.
But is the hope, well, I guess my hope is that the hope is by taking the medication and seeing results when you're making those lifestyle habits, you continue. Because I think a lot of people who have struggled in their investment in their health and are dealing with major weight issues, they start to work out, they start to try, but they don't see the results quick enough and they quit.
Yeah.
And I think that's in life, in business, just part of going back to the core of our show, success formula. Success, people quit before they see success because they don't realize when you plant a seed, it sprouts down with roots before it sprouts up through the earth.
Yeah.
So they don't see anything, so they quit. Is the hope in your eyes that this kind of drug and this kind of approach and treatment is going to give immediate results while they're making the lifestyle habits alterations, so they continue because they've seen results?
That's the hope.
That's the hope.
Right? But how many people do you know that they can get a quick result and then they're like, okay, I'm gonna go work harder so I can maintain those results and not take that anymore? Like, a lot of people want the quick fix, right?
Yeah, so we're on a mission to change them.
We are on a mission. Exactly.
Empower them to see the world.
Well, and that's why I'm very transparent with people when they come in. And I'm like, you have to do the work in this. And there's been people I've said, don't get on it. And they're like, aren't you trying to sell this to me? And I said, no, it's not about that. I want the best thing that's going to work for you, And so when they tell me, well, I can just stay on this forever, right? I'm like, no, that's not the point.
I mean, are there any known negatives to?
I mean, it's brand new. So no, I mean, according to them, you can stay on it forever. But just like you said, right? You got on that medication, 4 years later, it came out.
Yes.
So same with antidepressants. I was on that medication. It just came out probably 5 years ago that now your brain becomes dependent on antidepressants after 3 years. And that came out
Wow.
as a recent.
Yeah.
So imagine all the people that are told, oh, well, no, you can stay on this forever. You can do, well, yeah, now you're dependent on it though. So you don't want to be dependent on any medication.
No, and I think the challenge for all human studies is we all live the same length of life. On average, it's about 70 to 80 years. So to see the true effect of any medication over the course of, we could do animal studies in, mice and rats and whatever they do it on that live a very short life and assume that it's going to correlate to the human anatomy. But we have to wait 50 years of taking some medication or drug to realize, is there any long-term side effects?
Yes.
True with smoking.
Yeah.
Smoking didn't cause cancer until they had a long enough time to realize it did cause cancer.
Remember all those ads back in the day with like pregnant women, and I just feel so good with my Marlboro. Like
Doctors
it's like,
used to smoke.
What? I know. It's crazy.
Yes.
It's crazy.
When I was a kid, I remember sitting in airplanes, and there was a smoking section and a non-smoking section, and then you find out secondhand smoke was worse than the person smoking.
I know. So bad. I know. I would go over to my best friend's house, and her dad would smoke like 2 packs a day, and I would come home just reeking of it.
Did you ever smoke?
No. I never really saw the point.
Yeah, I did because I thought it was cool.
Really?
And I did a lot of chewing tobacco when I was in high school playing baseball. Yeah, and then I turned 21 and realized how dumb I was.
Yeah, no.
And then I've been on a mission for health ever since.
Ever since. You're doing well. Look at you.
No,
I mean,
trying.
it's working.
Trying. But I think it's important for Success Formula because you've been uber successful in medical sales. Katalyst is crushing it. You guys are doing amazing work here in San Diego and expanding. You're on the forefront of a very high growth industry where I think the future is very bright.
Mm-hmm.
And for those listening, people deal with challenges. Mm-hmm. And I think we owe it to the audience to talk about a major challenge that you guys had to deal with, that you and your husband had to deal with, where you had to pivot full-time into Katalyst because you weren't.
I did.
You weren't at the time.
No, I wasn't. I had my full-time job still because building a business, it's not like you're getting an income the first month, right? So, we were doing it. I was working full-time and doing Katalyst on the side, on the weekends and things. Don't worry, old job,
She was taking care of business.
I was taking care of business. And then Jason, he had real estate development that was on hold because of COVID and all the permitting. So he was really able to go all in on it, and he really built it from the foundation. And then I'd come in and help. And then, we had to pivot. So you want the story?
Yeah.
Huh? Okay.
If you don't mind sharing, if you don't mind being vulnerable and sharing, because I think the audience can learn that we all will have major hurdles that we deal with and how we overcome them.
Yeah, no. So in 2019, Jason and his brother started a cannabis business when it became legal in San Diego. So they applied for all the permits. They did everything they were supposed to do through the state. They have all the emails and everything that they were going to have a license in hand within 6 months. So they got all the equipment, did everything. Jason, neither of them ever used cannabis. That's the ironic part about this. They wanted to have or create medical grade cannabis oil because Jason's stepdaughter is autistic, and she became verbal and high functioning once she got on a THC cannabis blend. And so they saw the value in this. Same with epilepsy, all the things that it's medically used for, and they wanted to create. They're very much want to do the best at something when they do it. So they wanted to create the best medical grade oil. So again, they did all the things. They were told within 6 months. What they did wrong, they started manufacturing early prior to having the application or the license in hand. But they had already done everything that they were supposed to do. So per the attorney, it would have been a license infraction. Well, what they didn't consider is federal. So one of their suppliers was being followed by the DEA. And again, while everything they did was legal, the federal came in and raided their facility. And so the issue is that because federally it's a Schedule I drug, which is by definition no medicinal value whatsoever, they were charged. And because it's a Schedule I drug, it's an automatic 20-year charge, which is insane, right? And so we fought that for 4.5 years, and it probably would have come to fruition sooner, but because of COVID, everything was delayed. And, they got up there, they showed all the documentation, they showed everything they did, and they're like, we did this, every legal possibility the state had. And he goes, that's nice. And the judge was like, but it's not legal federally. Doesn't matter what you do by state. So they had to take a plea deal, and Jason got 30 months, my husband, and his brother got 40 months. And so now, unless it gets rescheduled, my husband had to step away as of January 6th.
Of 23.
Of 23. which has been as you said, we got very uncomfortable here
Yes.
for the time being, because I've never run a business. And so, yes, I was doing medical device sales and I was helping out, but I stepped into a role with 8 employees and running a business that, every day learning something new, whether it's payroll, whether it's firing somebody. I had to fire someone on my birthday. It was horrible. I'd never fired someone before.
It's hard. Firing someone is hard.
Managing employees is hard.
Yes.
Because, all you want is the best for them. And that it's a very hard dynamic. Patients, financials, everything, just diving into this. And it's been the hardest thing I've done in my life, I would say.
Yeah. And I can't imagine having to go through that as a family unit, especially in an early start business, and having now all that pressure and responsibility fall on your shoulders. However, I do see that this is an opportunity for you to also stretch your legs and find this version of yourself that, when Jason comes home, the new you that will have had to run the organization the way you're going to, you guys are going to be even more dynamic and more powerful as a couple.
Yeah.
Growing this thing as big as you're going to grow it.
Yes. And that's what we have to believe in right now, right? And Jason he's just a phenomenal human being, and he does not know the definition of anxiety or stress. He never has. It's very annoying. I'm jealous of him. So our dynamic together, he stepped into this. First, he stepped in and fasted for 40 days and nights, which is pretty incredible in itself. And then
Why did he do that?
He has a very faith-driven mindset. And he just felt that was a calling that he wanted to do. So when he went in January 6th, he fasted the full time. And the visions he got and the belief he got and what he saw.
No food.
No food. No food and water for 7 days. And then no food for the rest until 40 days.
No water for 7 days?
I know, crazy. I know. Don't listen. You will never meet someone with his mindset. He is just a phenomenal human being. You will not find one person out there that doesn't like Jason in some way or talk highly about him. But yeah, he did that. And we've talked about it since. It's really interesting because before he went in there, we were talking about how, okay, where do we want to go? And he goes, well, I want to go more business, right? And I want to speak and I want to do this. And because we were talking about it with our church. And then I said, well, I kind of want to lean into church more because faith and God and all that is very new to me. I never had that upbringing before. I had a very negative connotation on church. I just found the community a year and a half ago. I never believed in anything higher than me. I just controlled everything. So this new mindset, now he's in there. He has literally started a church inside. He has 21 men going. He started men's prayer inside. He's sitting here talking to me about these things that he would have never done if he was out here, right? And then if he was out here, I would have defaulted to him. I would not be the business acumen doing all the things I'm doing right now. And so we've had these chats of this is a calling on us. And imagine when we come out, we'll be full, just encompassing the person that we are supposed to be. And when we come together, it's going to be phenomenal.
Sure.
Now, do I wish this happened? No, of course not. But you have to see the blessing and gratefulness in everything that occurs. And if there is one in this, I think that's it, right?
Did you get the opportunity to see him?
I have not seen him yet, unfortunately. One, they still have COVID restrictions up there. So if I were to go, you have to sit 6 feet across from each other, which I told him, I'm like, my mindset right now, I don't know if that's going to be good for me. And then I would have to fly up to Fresno and then I have to stay overnight. So not only would I not be able to touch him or hug him or anything, then I have to stay in a hotel by myself overnight. And I'm like, babe, I love you. But I get to talk to him every day.
Oh, you do?
So I talk to him every day. We've honestly we already had a dynamic relationship. We put a lot of work into our relationship. That's another stigma out there in the world. It's once you get married, then marriage and this and that. We never believe in that. And we put so much work into us to have the best relationship ever. And so this has only made it 10 times better. It's insane. It's insane just the level of communication and love and just, all of it. So it's really not an issue not seeing him because I get to talk to him every day.
Yeah. It's still extremely impressive how you have been able to take on the role and responsibilities that have been required of you in the midst of that just happening.
Yeah.
It's less than 5 months.
Listen, it hasn't been pretty. I'm not going to lie. I can sit here very
pretty.
confident.
Nothing's pretty.
But there's definitely been some panic attacks. There's definitely been some things. And I said I suffered from anxiety forever. So I got off those meds 2.5 years ago. So that was a transition in itself, and I refused to get back on them. So I'm just trying to work through everything that I can do possible to not. There's definitely been a level of anxiety. But it's, every day it gets better and better, and you just learn from it. You keep stepping up because you only have two options. I'm either going to fail or I'm going to kill it, and I can't fail. That's not who I am.
There's one option.
So there's one option.
Just kill it.
Yeah, exactly.
So what is the number one thing that you have learned over the last 5 months, 4 months about yourself?
It's, you know what? It's not even, it is the past 4 or 5 months, but it's more so when I found my faith a year and a half ago, when I stepped into that, that is the biggest thing that I learned in life, is that I kind of let go and allowed the world to lead me, if that makes sense, allowed the bigger piece to lead me. And so the biggest thing I'm learning right now is being able to step away, don't spiral down a rabbit hole when things don't go. Because when you own a business, every single day something happens where, okay,
yes,
are you kidding me? Like the amount of change that occurs. And so the old cat would spiral into an anxiety, just freak out, where now it's like step back, ask, like, okay, give me the answers of what I'm supposed to do right now, and just wait for a minute. Just give it some time, because it's going to appear. It's going to show up. And like believing in that and having faith in that has been such an incredible thing for me. And then the amount of people that are surrounding me and support and like love. And our pastor, Dr. Matt, said this when he started, and he said, there's an anointing on all of our lives. You know it. You have it on your life, obviously. And you have to believe you have it on your life, right? And if you don't step into that, then you're not being the best version of yourself. Then you're not giving back what you can do in this world. If I sit back with fear the whole time and freak out and think this is just going to fail every day and spiral into my anxiety, that doesn't work. So I'm really learning who I am and stepping outside my comfort zone every single day. I mean, my gosh, I have a videographer following me around. That's uncomfortable to say the least.
It is. It's definitely weird.
And making business decisions and just leaning in to thinking, hey, you're a badass. Believe in that, and surround yourself with the people that you can stand up in front of and go, I think I can do amazing things. And they're going to say, yeah, you can. Versus, that's the biggest thing I had to learn, surrounding yourself with the people that would go, who do you think you are?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's been a huge transition for me. And it's when you do that, you step into your calling.
Well, and I think you're right, because the people we surround ourselves with, loyalty is huge to me.
Yes.
And I have lifelong friends that I love more than anything. And so it's always been hard for me to spend less time with them and more time with the people that serve the now me, this version of myself. Mm-hmm. Because as you grow, if your support circle of yesterday isn't growing simultaneously, you'll start to see that there's a divide on who you need to be mm-hmm. and who they want to be.
Yes.
And when they want to be the same best version of themselves, you guys can grow together. Mm-hmm. And I think it's true in relationships, marriages,
everything.
Friendships, business.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's so important that you've identified that over the last year and a half for yourself, and it's been evident. I mean, I haven't known you that long. I am a little bummed I didn't get to see Zeus today.
I know. I'm so sorry. Grandma's still in town till Sunday, so she has him today.
Okay. Zeus is her pit bull, who is the biggest sweetheart in the world.
He's the best.
He'd be sitting next to me right now.
He would probably be snoring, if I'm completely honest.
Yeah, I was hoping he was coming.
I know. I'm sorry. Okay. I thought about it, but we have a full day after this, and
Zeus
he's
will
hiking.
get his own episode on the Jeff Fenster show.
That's the other thing I want to do. I need to find like a pit bull organization that I can partner with, because I want to start helping in that way. That's where I'm following in Dan Fulkerson's footsteps. Mm-hmm. If he can put a bulldog on his building, when I get a building, I'm putting a pit bull on it. It is happening. So I just keep asking him for tips on that.
Yes. Dan's building is awesome.
He's another phenomenal human being. But that's what I'm talking about. Like a year and a half ago, all of a sudden, when I found that faith, that different, you can call it frequency, energy, whatever you want to call it, it was interesting to watch the people that were in my life that I thought were my people, like slowly just get pulled away for one reason or another. And then the people that came into my life were just these Colin, Melissa, Dan, now you, right? Jeff Hoffman, like just incredible people that are so genuine that I just keep, hey, can I just hang out and just sit here in the back and just watch and learn? Because these people are incredible. Mm-hmm. So it's fun, and it's amazing to watch. Like it's almost step outside of yourself and just observe what's happening, and then just keep telling myself, okay, lean in, just keep leaning in. Like, let's go.
So as a final message for everyone, those who can go to Katalyst Wellness, but those who maybe live in an area where they can't, what is the one thing you recommend that everyone do based on all the knowledge you have and everything you guys are doing that they can do today or in the next 2 days to start investing in their health and start down this path? Because for maybe you and me, we're early adopters, we're progressive in this, but some people, this is all new to them. I mean, you say bioidentical hormone replacement and they'll look at you like you're speaking another language.
I know. So just to explain that really fast, bioidentical hormone replacement, it's just natural hormones. So basically, if the pharmaceutical companies can't patent it, it's just natural. So that's what you want to go through. If they can patent it, then it's something they've changed in it that they've made for themselves and they can make money off of. So don't use those. It's very simple, right? Yep. So the one thing that I would suggest is start with blood work. Like all of us, we don't really lean into that. When you're younger, you don't get that yearly physical blood work, things like that. What we tell our patients is, and that's why the first initial consult is just blood work. It's not signing up for anything. It's not doing anything else. Get your base blood work, because even if you feel great right now, maybe this is the best you've ever felt, you have something, a roadmap to show you where you were when you felt that way. And then in 5 years from now, if you're like, wow, I just feel tired and I feel off and what's going on, now you have your base and you can compare and contrast to where you were, even if you do absolutely nothing right now. So that's what we always recommend. And that's why we always say, like, hey, you don't have to sign up for a program. You don't have to come in for hormone replacement therapy. You don't need to do anything, but just get a base of where you are now. And then you have some roadmap. I
agree. I've gotten my blood work every 6 months for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
So I have 40, 50 blood panels of history. And now, don't be crazy like me, but I'm like, uh-oh, it's going the wrong way. But then you can make those tweaks. And before it becomes serious.
I have the same thing. So I went to a holistic doctor when I had the anxiety to do the brain test, the levels in your brain. And she goes, okay, we'll bring past lab work. I showed up with like 15 panels and she goes, what is happening? I'm like, I do it every 6 months. Yeah. And then it's cumulative and you can see, oh, why is this raising? This is weird. Why is this doing this? Because you know you're constant.
Yeah. But it's important. I mean, this is our vessel. This is our bodies.
It is.
And you can't be the best version of yourself professionally, personally, as a parent, as a friend, as a spouse, if you don't feel good.
Yeah.
No one performs when we don't feel good.
And that's the thing.
So you remember, you can't buy your health. You have to invest in it. And that is, as you know about me, I 100% endorse and believe this. If you are in the San Diego area, just San Diego right now.
We do all over California. We can do telehealth.
If you're anywhere in the state of California,
there you go.
Reach out to Kat. If you're not in the state of California, still reach out to Kat, and she can guide you on maybe some option in your state or when a Katalyst Wellness might be popping up.
When we go. That's right.
But I want to thank you so much. This was so
Thank you
awesome
for having me.
having you on the show. Next time, you must bring my friend Zeus.
I will bring him. I promise. He was very disappointed.
Yeah, we both are.
I know.
Well, you get to see Zeus next time. But thank you, Kat. This was awesome.
Yes, thank you.
Hey everyone. First, I want to thank all of you for tuning in. And if you guys haven't heard about my new book, Relationship Bank Account, click the link in the show notes or search the title on Amazon. This book is packed with all my secrets to success in both relationships and life. Make sure to pick up a copy, and if the book helps you on your journey, let us know by leaving a review. I appreciate all of you and can't wait to see you on the next one.